Hi, and welcome back for the third and final in this series on how to find good deals. In the first video, I talked to you about the importance of identifying your financial targets for your property investing. The next video talked about how it is really important to understand the benchmarks for the type of investing that you're considering doing, because then that gives you a baseline from which to evaluate the potential projects that you are looking at. Now, different types of investing will have different benchmarks. So, what is typical and normal for an HMO versus a single-let versus serviced accommodation versus development will be totally different from each other, and also totally different from region to region. So you need to know the benchmarks, not just for the type of investing that you're doing, but for the location in which you are investing. Once you know what your targets are, your personal financial targets, and again, these will be different for everyone. Once you know what your personal financial targets are, and then you know the benchmarks for the type of property investing you are interested in doing in that specific area, the next and final step in this process of how to find good deals from all of the deals available is pulling all of that information together when you do your due diligence on every property that you then consider investing in. So for example, and I'm totally making up these numbers for ease of illustration. It will be very, very different depending on what part of the country you are in, and again, what your personal financial targets are. But let's say, for example, for me, I have, for example, decided that I want my property investing, at least for this next year, to net me £1,000 of profit every month. And I have decided that I want to invest in HMOs. And in this hypothetical scenario, I have done my due diligence and understood the benchmarks and found that for a 5-bedroom HMO, the typical benchmark is going to be a 11% return on investment, and let's say £800 of net profit a month. So 5-bedroom HMO in this illustration, benchmarks say a typical 5-bedroom HMO in, city X should yield about a 11% return on investment and a £800 positive net cash flow every month. Now, anytime I go to look at a potential property to invest in, I have these benchmarks in the back of my mind. So when I'm going on to Zoopla, Rightmove, talking to agents, talking to sourcers, talking to whoever it is that I'm to landowners or to property owners directly, whoever it is that I am talking to, I have this in the back of my mind to always then evaluate the performance of the property that they're looking to sell to me versus the benchmark. And it really is that simple. You then look at all of the properties available. Let's say in this hypothetical scenario, I'm only looking at Rightmove. So I'll look at Rightmove for properties that can be converted into 5-bedroom HMOs. I'll start doing my numbers, my financial due diligence, and any property that falls within that benchmark of 11% ROI and £800 net profit per month, I will consider and shortlist. Any property that doesn't, I won't even look at. And then, once I have got this short list of properties that fall within the general benchmarks, then I do even further due diligence. And then I say, okay, well, what are some of the various scenarios? What if the build costs go up, or what if the rent changes, or what, do all of these various scenario planning. And then finally look at the number that comes out. I say it's probably best to do at least 2 scenarios, sort of a best case and a worst case. A lot of people do 3, sort of a best case, a base case, and a worst case. But when you're doing your financial due diligence and pulling it all together and evaluating each potential property investment, do a couple of scenarios and see what comes out at the bottom. What is your net profit? What does the various scenarios, how does that change your net profit? How does it change your return on investment? And then you evaluate, again, what is a good deal versus a bad deal against whether in the various scenarios, if it still performs at least as well as the typical benchmarks for that type of investing and in that area, and also if it hits your financial targets. Now, let's say out of all of the properties that I shortlisted in this hypothetical scenario, there are 5 that, I've done the various scenario analyses on. and they still come up with at least 11% ROI and at least £800 net profit per month, then that's when I go and I call the agent, I pick up the phone, I go and do a viewing, and then I continue the process from there. So I'm not wasting tons and tons of time looking at every possible property out there, thinking every deal is a potentially great deal. I'm very specifically narrowing it down to only the properties that come close to my financial target, and also the properties that fit or exceed the benchmarks for that type of investing in that region. Once you know what your financial targets are and what the benchmarks are, it will make the due diligence process that much easier, because it'll help you sift through the hundreds and thousands of potential properties out there, potential projects out there, and give you a very quick criteria for evaluating, yes, this is a potentially good deal, or no, this is a potentially, or this isn't going to be right for me. But all of these things are very, very personal. This is not something I can tell you, your criteria should be X and Y. This is something that you need to decide what your financial targets are. Then you need to get a really clear understanding on what the benchmarks are in your region or in the region you're looking to invest in for the type of investment that you're looking to do. And then you pull it all together when you're evaluating every potential project that you are either looking at or that is brought to you from agents or Rightmove or whatever the sources are. So, 3 steps. Establish your financial targets for yourself, for your business, for your property investing. Understand the benchmarks for the type of investing that you are interested in doing and in the area and region in which you are looking to do it. And third, use your financial targets and the benchmarks as the criteria by which to sift through all of the potential projects and properties out there. Hopefully this will help you then define for yourself what is a good deal, and also use some objective criteria as well as your subjective criteria. But again, as I said, it will help you sift through the tons of potential deals out there. What is a good deal for you might be a bad deal for somebody else, and what is a good deal for somebody else might be a bad deal for you. So there is no definition of a good deal or a bad deal. There are benchmarks, there is sort of typical performance, and then there is your own personal target. So bring both of those things together and use those 2 things to help you sift out all of the deals that come your way and make your decision based on your criteria, on your due diligence, and on understanding what the benchmarks are. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this will give you some really great ways of thinking through the various properties that you are considering. And I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below about how you're doing on finding good deals against all of the deals available to you. Good luck, and I will talk to you again next time. Bye.